Are you living someone else's life? What if I told you that one of Hollywood's most respected actors was once a 14-year-old gang member, one bad decision away from prison or worse? Denzel Washington was broke sleeping on couches and getting rejected from every audition until a complete stranger walked up to him at his dead-end YMCA job and said something that would change everything. Young man, you're gonna speak to millions of people. He laughed it off, but those words haunted him. And what happened next proves that your breakthrough isn't behind you. It's waiting for you to stop making excuses and start making moves. This isn't the Hollywood version of the story. This is the brutal truth that might just save your life. There's this guy, maybe you've seen him in the movie, Denzel Washington. Yeah, that Denzel. The one who seems like he's got it all figured out, right? The one walking red carpets, collecting awards, commanding respect everywhere he goes. Well, what if I told you he was once exactly where you are right now? Actually, scratch that. He was worse off. Way worse. This isn't the Hollywood version of a story. This is what they don't show you on award shows. This is the brutal, unfiltered truth. And it might just save your life. Picture this, Mount Vernon, New York. A 14-year-old kid cutting school, running with gangs, basically one bad decision away from becoming a headline or a statistic. That was Denzel. No famous parents, no trust fund, no Hollywood connections. Just a mom running a beauty salon and a dad who was a strict Pentecostal preacher until he wasn't around anymore. His life was spiraling toward disaster. Fast. The kind of disaster that ends dreams before they even start. The kind that turns potential into prison time. But his mom saw what was coming, and it wasn't good. She saw her son heading down a path that had no good ending. So she did what any desperate parent would do. She yanked him out of his comfort zone and threw him into a private school where he was one of the only black students. Out of place, undervalued, misunderstood. But something started to shift in that environment. Structure, discipline, hope. A tiny seed was planted. One that would take years to grow but never died. Even after high school, Denzel was completely lost. Sound familiar? He bounced between majors like a pinball machine. Political science? Nope. Pre-med? Complete disaster. Basketball? Not even close. He was drifting through life, working dead-end jobs, smiling on the outside while crumbling inside, just like millions of Americans right now. Stuck in jobs that drain their souls, pretending they're fine when they're barely holding it together, going through the motions of a life that feels like it belongs to someone else. Then one afternoon at his job, working the front desk at a YMCA, just killing time, probably wondering if this was all there was. This random woman walks up to him, complete stranger, someone he'd never seen before in his life, and she looks him dead in the eye with his piercing certainty and says, "Young man, you're gonna speak to millions of people. You're gonna travel the world, influence lives, and do something incredible." She didn't ask. She declared it like it was already written in stone. He laughed it off. I mean, wouldn't you? Here he was, nobody special, working a nothing job, and some random lady is telling him he's destined for greatness. But her words haunted him. They kept echoing in his head like a song you can't stop humming. How could a stranger see what he couldn't? How could someone who didn't even know his name see a future he could then imagine for himself? So Denzel decides to take a risk, to try acting, not because he thought he'd be famous, but because it gave him something he hadn't felt in years. Purpose, a reason to get up in the morning. He enrolled at Fordham University, ready to chase this crazy dream that some stranger had planted in his head. And immediately, the rejection started pouring in like rain. Failed auditions, awkward performances, stiff delivery. Directors ignored him like he was invisible. Professors told him to consider other paths, which is academic speak for "you're not good enough." Every time that room went silent after his performance, every time he saw that look of disappointment on casting directors' faces, it felt like a piece of his soul. He wasn't just doubting his talent, he was doubting his worth as a human being. And here's where most people quit. Most people take the L and walk away. They tell themselves they gave it a shot, that it wasn't meant to be, that they should be realistic. But Denzel, he did something unthinkable. He used the pain as fuel. Instead of letting rejection break him, he let it build him. While everyone else was partying, he was practicing. While others gave up after the first few no's, he stayed behind after class, memorizing lines, studying body language, watching his own tapes and dissecting every flaw like a surgeon. Every no became a rehearsal for the yes he hadn't heard yet. Every rejection became a lesson in what not to do next time. He was broke, sleeping on couches, working in barbershops, cleaning tables, doing whatever it took to stay afloat. No social media followers to validate him. No backup plan to fall back on. Just raw hunger and an unshakable belief that the stranger at the YMCA had seen something real. And when he finally started booking roles, they were small, stereotypical, forgettable. He wasn't the hero. He was the drug dealer, the criminal, the background noise. The roles that other actors would phone in, the characters that audiences would forget 5 minutes after the credits rolled. But here's what separates him from the 99% who disappear into obscurity. He made even the smallest roles unforgettable. He acted like the world was watching, even when no one was. He brought the same intensity to a 2-line part that he would later bring to leading roles. Then came Cry Freedom, his shot at something real, a serious film with a global message about apartheid and human rights. This wasn't just another paycheck. This was his chance to prove that the stranger's prophecy was real. He didn't just want to impress the director. He wanted to impact the world. So he went deep, gave it everything he had. Days turned to nights. He lived the role, breathed it, became it. He studied the real-life people he was portraying, immersed himself in the history, the pain, the struggle. And when that film hit theaters, it didn't just open doors, it shattered walls. The world finally saw what he always knew he had inside him. Oscar nomination. Suddenly Hollywood wanted him. Phone calls from agents, scripts flooded his mailbox. But here's the twist that nobody saw coming. Success didn't change him. It revealed him. While other actors started chasing the spotlight, desperate for fame and fortune, Denzel kept chasing truth. He didn't take every role that came his way. He only took the ones that meant something. Stories with soul, with weight. Characters that would challenge him and challenge audiences. He knew something that most people in Hollywood didn't understand. Fame fades, but impact lasts forever. He wasn't building a career, he was building a legacy. When he finally won that Oscar, he didn't celebrate like it was the finish line. He treated it like the beginning. He said something that still gives me chills. I didn't just want to be the best black actor, I wanted to be the best actor, period. And he became that. Not because of natural talent alone, but because of obsession. He prepared for every role like it was his first day in the business, even 30 years into the game. And maybe the most powerful thing about him, he never forgot where he came from, never forgot the streets, never forgot the rejection, never forgot what it felt like to be dismissed, overlooked, counted out. And he never stopped reminding people of something that could change your life. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. Think about that for a moment. Everyone's looking for comfort, for the easy path, for shortcuts to success. But comfort is the enemy. Comfort kills more dreams than failure ever will. In today's America, people are starving for meaning, for direction, for a reason to get up in the morning and fight for something bigger than themselves. They're drowning in comfort but dying of spiritual starvation. Denzel's story isn't just inspiring, it's a blueprint. It proves that greatness doesn't come from winning. It comes from being willing to lose again and again without breaking. It comes from getting knocked down and getting back up. Not because you're not hurt, but because you know the pain is temporary, but the regret of quitting is permanent. If you're sitting there thinking, that's not me, I've failed too much, I'm too old, too behind, too damaged, too ordinary, let this hit you like a lightning bolt. Denzel didn't land his breakout role until his late 30s. He wasn't on Hollywood's radar until he'd been buried under an avalanche of rejections. He built his legacy brick by painful brick, audition by failed audition, role by forgotten role. There is no expiration date on purpose. There is no age limit on greatness. There is no statute of limitations on your dreams. So what's your excuse? Really, what is it? You're not too late. You're not too broken. You're not too far gone. You're exactly where your breakthrough begins. Right here, right now, in the middle of the mess. You just forgot who you are. You just forgot that the same God who breathed life into Denzel Washington breathed life into you. You just forgot that you have something unique to offer this world, something that nobody else can give. The difference between those who rise and those who rust isn't talent. It isn't luck. It isn't connections. It's this. The risers act even when they're scared. They move even when it hurts. They believe even when nobody claps. They keep going even when the voice in their head is screaming at them to quit. So believe now, move now, act now, not tomorrow, Not next week, not when you feel ready. Now! Denzel once said something that should be tattooed on every dreamer's heart. Dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment. You have a dream, now give it a deadline. You have pain, now give it a purpose. You have a story, now make it matter. Stop waiting for permission from people who don't even know your name. Stop looking for validation from a world that's too busy with its own problems to notice your potential. This isn't just a video you stumbled across. This is your mirror. This is the sign you've been praying for, the kick in the pants you've been needing, the reminder that you're still here for a reason. The world may not see you yet, but that doesn't matter. What matters is whether you still see yourself. And if you're still breathing, if your heart is still beating, if there's still fire in your belly, then the story isn't over, not even close. You're one choice away from a different life, one decision away from a different decade, one commitment away from a completely different existence. Don't wait for permission. Don't beg for belief. Stand up now and take what's already yours. Stop asking if you're good enough and start demanding that the world prove it's good enough for you. If this lit a fire in your soul, don't let it burn out. Watch this again tomorrow and the day after. Because every time you do, you're rewiring your mind for greatness. You're programming your subconscious for success. You're feeding the right wolf. And every time you don't, the old you wins. The scared you wins. The small you wins. If you're still here, still listening, still believing that there's something more waiting for you, you're not average. You're ready. You're part of the 1% who doesn't just consume content, but takes action. Join the movement. Subscribe. Turn on notifications. Because every week, we drop stories like this. True stories that crack open your excuses and build your power. Don't just watch. Commit. Your new life starts now. Because the world needs what you've got. And it's time to stop hiding it.